Hey, what's up, party people? Welcome to what is it this today? Halloween Kills, Honest Trailer Commentaries. Yeah, a Halloween season honest trailer. I'm here with Lon Harris. We're giving you all the behind the scenes thoughts, the cut scenes, rather the scenes that have been slashed from the final cut. We're gonna be doing some viewer comments and questions. We'll tease you with next week's honest trailer. We're gonna go through this one frame by frame and give you all of our most deepest, darkest thoughts and feelings about this film. A film that we were talking before we started rolling. It tries to be a little deeper than I think it succeeds in being, asking questions like, is it the true demonic manifestation of evil we should be worried about, or mob justice? You be the judge. Lon, which is it? What should we be worried about? Michael, the demons or the ignorance of crowds?
I mean, I'm definitely on the record as saying I think the fact that every horror or monster thing ends up becoming like, you know who the real monster is? Mankind. Us. We're the real monsters. And like I get that every once in a while that would be the theme, or like that's an interesting twist, but it's like that's always the theme, and I feel like we're doing that again. And that's just not like, I don't need a Halloween film to be about something else like grief or trauma or mob justice and vigilantism or whatever. Like, Halloween films are already about a thing. Look out, he has a knife. Look out, the guy's in a mask and he's gonna kill us.
Well, yeah, this has certainly gotten a mixed reception critically and I guess online or whatever. And I'm not a horror fan, frankly. I mean, I probably like, here, I will say I like about 2 horror films a year and don't care for every other one. So I guess I wouldn't call myself a fan, but I think the cream rises to the top. But this to me is like what horror fans want, which to me is like a conveyor belt of cool kill sequences. And I feel like this movie gave me that.
It's missing the fun. Like, this movie is dour and self-serious, and those movies that are splatterfests where it's just like Jason ripping through teens at camp, they're fun because they allow us to have fun with it. Like, it's gory and violent, but in a silly way, in a cartoonish way, in a goofy way, in a way that we know that is like sort of safe and silly. And that's the fun of a lot of these kind of horror movies, is it takes something that really does scare people, the idea of being chased through the woods by a stranger who's trying to murder you. It's like a primal thing, but in a way that feels safe and at a distance that we can enjoy communally. And I think this movie really forgets that, and it's like really serious and grim and dour and wants you to feel like the consequences and repercussions of violence. But that's exactly what you don't want when you're enjoying Michael squeezing a guy's eyeballs out with his thumbs, or
I would say it's a lot more of the latter than the former. Like, to me, they kind of bring up those heavier themes, and then they just kind of don't explore them, or they resolve them in a very facile, just quick way. Like the hospital sequence, I think, is the big moral moment of the film. But something that you brought up, like that it should be just kind of fun and escapist to watch the slasher rampage through town. And we were talking about this, it didn't make it into the trailer, about how they've chosen to kind of do the inverse of the usual filler body count type characters, where they usually make them kind of despicable and you're rooting against them. But in the Halloween reboots, they make them like quirky and lovable. So when Michael Myers finally kills them, it feels just like, I don't know, it feels extra mean. It made it hard for me to root for Michael Myers killing these people. Whereas other horror movies, I find like, oh, good, that was the jock that was an asshole, or that girl wasn't a virgin, so she deserves to die by horror movie logic. Like, they broke the rules in that way, and I don't know if it worked for me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like these movies, it should be like funny or scary. Like that's the sort of the spectrum that you're on. Some of them lean more towards being silly, goofy, but the Jason X's of the world, and then some of them lean more towards being intense and scary. The Texas Chainsaw Massacres, the original Halloween, Scream kind of perfectly finds that balance in between, where it's some scenes are really intense and some scenes are goofy. It's like not even on that spectrum. It's on the like sad to thoughtful spectrum, and it's like, I don't I don't want to be sad or thoughtful.
Well, except for the Michael Myers,
my slasher movie,
the Michael Myers trick shot montages, which again I think are at least 40% of the film are like long shots of him rampaging, which I think is what the people want, right? That's what they come to pay for. I think that it also
I don't think it works out of context.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that this film has boatloads of is Halloween lore. And look, I watched the reboot. I've seen the original. I've caught some of the sequels throughout my life, but
there is a Cram It. You could have watched the Cram It.
I'm sure I watched a Cram It at some point, but
I could take you through the whole series.
Yes, you could. Well, I feel like I needed you to, because they were really, I thought, like overemphasizing how important these characters were to Halloween lore, and like the flashback sequence. I was like, how much of this was really in the first film, and how much are they inserting to? I was a little bit lost as someone who doesn't go through the Halloween lore every year before I watch a film.
All these characters really are in the first film. Lonnie Elam is in there, and Marion, the nurse who's in the car with Dr. Loomis. Like they're doing a very good job of like checking fandom.com's wikis and Wikipedia and like connecting all these dots. It doesn't feel particularly believable. Like the idea that Tommy Doyle and Lonnie Elam and the nurse who is in Dr. Loomis's car are drinking buddies now is like pretty friggin' out there to me. Like it doesn't feel necessary. And the entire idea of the first movie is that Haddonfield is like any town USA. Like it's not special. It's just this normal suburban community. And that's why this is so scary, because it could happen anywhere, you know?
Yeah.
And the more we dig into like learning the street grid of Haddonfield and learning who lives in every house and making every location so important and iconic and revisiting that one night over and over again, it just imbues it with this importance that it's not supposed to have.
Well, but you need him to be a demon baby at this point, because like, why hasn't he died yet? And we need to make sequels. Yeah. And this is very clearly part 2 of a 3+ movie franchise that they're hoping to make.
We were saying this is like episode 8 to 10 of the Netflix season, where it's the 13 episode season. They're just like, all right, just get through it. Listen, maybe Daredevil has some meetings. I don't know. We got to fill these episodes.
All right, let's watch the last trailer for Halloween Kills.
Iron Fist gets a barista gig. I don't know.
The franchise that's been rebooted more times than Lieutenant Dangle has returned.
New boot goofing.
Oh, and after
thank you, Lon, for getting New Boot Goofing into an honest trailer. It's been too long. I know we've referenced Lieutenant Dangle before at some point.
Yes,
but,
I think we've even referenced New Boot Goof.
Really? Okay.
I think
so. Joe's a fan as well. I think Joe had a couple references.
Yeah. Classic vid, classic show, classic character.
Yeah. Quibi Zone, Reno 911.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing worth watching, by the
way.
Yeah, now on Roku. Check it out. All right, keep playing.
And after making a killing in theaters, one thing is for sure. People would rather get COVID than sign up for Peacock. Halloween Kills. You thrilled as the Strodes faced off against Michael Myers. Now, get ready to see what literally everyone else in town was up to that night. From Dr. Loomis's nurse, to the kid Laurie used to babysit, to the kid Laurie's friend used to babysit.
It's funny that they all got the original actors back, except is it Michael C. Hall? What's his name? Michael...
Anthony Michael Hall.
Anthony Michael Hall. Yeah, except one of them grew. What's that original actor saying? Like, hey,
I don't know. But also that character's played by Paul Rudd in Halloween 6. So you have to wonder at some point, did they think about maybe getting Paul Rudd for this?
I'm sure that they did. I wonder if
it must have been thrown around in a meeting or two. Like, we should get because they're eliminating Halloween 6 from the canon. Like that didn't. But they're referencing the other movies in this anyway, so why not?
I can't see Paul Rudd in that. I did my own research.
No, Anthony Michael Hall was a good. Anthony Michael Hall is actually like. I'll step out of character and praise the film for a moment. That's good casting. Like he really nails this. He's very believable as a guy who you believe has
the townie with a grudge.
Yeah. He's definitely got some ivermectin in the medicine cabinet.
All right, keep playing.
to the kid that used to bully the kid that Laurie used to babysit. All of Haddonfield will band together to reminisce about that 5 minutes of screen time they got 40 years ago.
40 years ago, a madman escaped from a mental hospital.
He killed my daughter 40 years ago.
He's infected my family with grief and fear for 40 years.
Michael Myers has haunted this town for 40 years.
40 years ago, when I was a kid, you protected me.
Michael Myers has returned.
Two things. One, H40. Why not go with that if you're going to bring up the 40-year thing all the time? I don't understand why. It seems like that would be an obvious touchstone to go with this. But here's my other thing. What is a small town bar Halloween night talent show where people also give dramatic speeches a thing that I'm just like from the city and don't know about? Because that seems ridiculous.
I mean, it's a shallow talent pool. It's like, you know, there's only so many folks, and here comes the one with the ventriloquist dummy. Great.
No, but I mean, just like even a bar. I don't think I've ever been to a bar where there was just there's open mics, but I don't know if I've ever been to an organized talent show. But why on Halloween night?
Well, it'd be weird if it was on Christmas in this movie.
It's just such a like contrivance. Like
you never gone out to hear
we
some
need all these
spooky
characters
stories?
Here. We want Tommy to give this speech to a bunch of people, and it's just like thrown. Like I didn't believe that.
I think telling spooky stories is a talent, and I think that I would rather watch that than a ventriloquist.
It wasn't even. I don't even know. It's like a evil TED talk.
You didn't really need that on top of it. It could have just been like every Halloween they get together and have drinks at this bar and reminisce.
I think it actually would probably work better if you were just at that table or counter with them. They worked it into a conversation. You'd also get to know those characters better. I feel like that was probably
very different movie, but you know, like I said, I only watched so many horror films. But you ever see VFW?
Oh yeah, with the old guy, the veteran.
That was cool, man. With
Stephen Lang, yeah, that was good. I like it.
Anyways, random movie rec. All right, keep playing.
Returned, extra crispy. He'll pick up right where he left off, mindlessly killing people. Then very mindfully arranging their bodies in an artful tableau. It's missing a certain je ne sais quoi. Perhaps one more knife. Right there. And the only thing standing in his path.
So he's just on a beeline, like A to B, to his childhood home, right? That's what we learn in this film. And like he has no special connection with Laurie Strode, right?
Right. They made it, they're treating it kind of like a twist. In the first movie, there was this kind of assumption that Michael was going to come for Laurie, like the podcasters were really planning that idea. And then, this one, we kind of come full circle and it's like, no, he doesn't care about any one person.
I feel like the twist should have been the other way. It's like something that adds motivation to him, not like subtracts it. He's just trying to get to his house. So if the Johns left the house, he'd just live there.
The second half of this movie is so muddled. I'm really not even sure what they're trying to say about Michael. He's either a manifestation of the violence within all of us, or he's some sort of undead ghoul, or like I don't know what his nature is or what he's supposed to even represent at this point. They're getting almost close to like Cult of Thorn territory from like the late sequels. Like he's some sort of, is there druid stuff we're going to introduce soon?
On a long enough timeline, everything becomes
always
druidish.
Druid, ancient druid rituals. I don't know. It's just really like I still after two movies, I kind of still don't get their take. On like who Michael Myers is and what he's doing, other than just like walking around killing
this
people.
one, I hate to say it,
it's had character beats.
It's the Last Jedi of the Halloween trilogy, because it's just not connecting to the first one, but you can tell that the third one is going to pick up where the first one left off and just kind of ignore everything that just happened.
J.J. Abrams is like, I have a fascinating guys. Somehow Loomis returned.
And he and Michael kiss, and everyone's redeemed. All right, keep playing.
The only thing standing in his path is franchise stalwart Laurie Strode. No, she might as well be in a coma. Okay. Standing in the way of Mike is Allison Strode, the next in line to take over the franchise. No, she immediately proves she isn't worthy? Do it! okay? Standing in the way of Mike is Karen Strode, who finally realized her mom was right and became the badass she was raised to become. No? She's still trying to calm things down?
What are you doing? Get out of my way! That's not him! It's not him! You don't know what he looks like!
Yeah, pause.
Wow.
I just think it's just, I was going to say criminal, but that's too strong. It's just a weird choice to not center this movie around Jamie Lee Curtis while we have her. Like, she's so clearly the best part of the last film, and even the moments she's in this film. And it's like, she's game, she's ready to fight. Like, you build the story around those two.
From the marketing and the fan response, that's what had people excited about this whole new take on Halloween was, all right, Jamie Lee Curtis, and we're doing the Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2. Like, she's a badass now, and she's gonna turn the table. Like, that's what people want to see. And having her in a bed talking to Will Patton the whole time is just like, these are two great character actors. No argument for me. I enjoy both of them. But like, come on, give her something fun.
Yeah, if you make her the lead in this film and kill her off at the end, and then you're really passing the torch to the next generation. But now it's just it's going to be this weird two-hander of like, it's going to be Jamie Lee Curtis and Alison Strode, like dual heroines, because you need in the third one them to all face off. So
sure, of course. I also feel like they've done a weird thing, like both the 2018 one and this one end like with the fake out, like there's going to be this cool heroic beat for Judy Greer, and that she's going to kind of become the standout heroine, final woman of this franchise.
Right.
And then they kind of pull back at the end. Like she had, there was that big reveal, like she's actually a great shot, and like she's the one who nails Michael in the head. Yeah. And then this one where she leads him to the mob, and you're like, all right, like big Judy Greer hero moment. But then if they mute it and they undermine it both times.
Yeah, you'd think that given where she ended the last film and the fact that this film picks up at the same time,
moments later,
that she'd still be in the mode of, oh shit, my mom was right. This is a demonic thing coming to kill us. And
that's what I really wanted. But no, she's right back to where she was at the beginning of the 2018 one, with like, oh God, oh no, we got to hide, we got to run.
Don't upset mom. Yeah. Make sure she stays calm. Anyway, okay.
Call your grandmother only by the formal title grandmother at all times. That's how we do it in this family. No Grammy or anything.
Maybe it's an Illinois thing. Who knows?
They even signed. Did you see that she even signs the card like, "I love you, grandmother"?
Grandmother,
weird, right? That must have stood out. Why are you doing this, David?
That's the most horrific thing of all. Okay, keep playing.
Wow, okay. Standing in the way of Mike are two gay pirates and an elderly couple with a drone. Cool. Because this was clearly the middle part of a trilogy, and this killer is craving some filler for Halloween.
Do you know what happens to people who come into the Myers home without an invitation?
We're not even scared.
He stabbed his sister in the tits.
You were impressed/confused to learn Danny McBride helped write these reboots, but it takes someone like Kenny Powers to write characters this stupid. As all of Haddonfield fights back on Halloween night in the dumbest ways possible, whether they're splitting into smaller and smaller groups.
Lindsay, stay here. Okay, so the key is we stick together.
Now I'm going in alone.
What?
Falling for the same tricks they did 40 years ago. Mistaking.
I'm actually scared because I'm realizing I think we cut the part where everybody says evil dies tonight, but it's fine. Other people have made that joke a million times.
I think we all and honestly, that I don't think that is like a major criticism. Like it's definitely a thing that they purposefully say over and over again, but that does kind of feel like a throwback horror movie sort of thing. I didn't mind that so much.
I mean, it speaks to a movie of a certain tone that it didn't keep throughout the whole thing. Exactly. But it's like
if this entire movie was that movie, I would be in. Where if it was like about Tommy Doyle raised in a posse to go kill Mike Myers, and they were all chanting "Evil Dies Tonight," and the kills were super gross and over the top, that's a movie I would want to see.
I think so, yeah, because it was funny and fun. The degree to which people were ready to throw down on Halloween night, and I guess they
like with an iron. We do make a joke about that, and like a baseball bat, so like that, and that is they've sort of explored that. I think Halloween 4, there's also like a posse that comes to kill Michael Myers, but at least that's like a fun take. Like,
even though it doesn't make sense, because in the world of this film, like this all happened 40 years ago and it's been peaceful, I assume, ever since. So the idea that people were like so fed up and it's like, no, not one evil dies tonight. Like, you've been fine for 40 years in the suburbs. Most of you weren't even born. But yeah, they were just really drunk and wanted to. I'll bet they didn't even know what they were talking about. They just said, "Yeah, evil dies tonight, brother."
Well, that podcast never came out. They never got to finish their podcast, so a lot of people never got to hear this story.
Yeah, well, you know,
a lot of Americans who probably would have been hip to the Michael Myers saga if only he had allowed.
I'm sure NPR like found the tapes. They didn't, you know, they found their equipment and that made it extra chilling.
Well, they were still, as of the action of this movie, they were murdered mere hours before.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Stupidly, they were planning to make a Michael Myers podcast that would come out after the anniversary of the killing. That was not a good.
They were very far behind.
They really needed somebody from Wondery to give them a call and be like, "That's not how we do it. Gotta go a month ahead."
Okay, keep going.
Mistaking a Danny DeVito lookalike for Michael Myers, even though they all grew up with him and his face is on the news.
Not him.
And showing up to a climactic beatdown in their PJs. Look, that guy brought a hockey stick. Who plays cricket in Haddonfield, Illinois? They go run a clothes iron. Where are all of your guns? I thought this was America. And you're just gonna leave him there? Not gonna chop him into pieces or blow the body up like a beached whale? He's just gonna get up again. See? What did I just say? How drunk are you people? Prepare yourself for a film with a message. Are remorseless serial killers what we should be worried about? Or is forming a mob to stop them the real evil? And, like the former, moving on. So enjoy a muddled new installment that
it's just, if they needed to do better with like having the mob be out of control. I feel like, didn't they do this a similar thing in Halloween 2 where the mob actually like kills somebody or something like that, right?
In Halloween 2, there is an accidental death of the guy who's in a Michael Myers mask, but I don't think it's like purposeful vengeance.
They just really seem to back off of having of like actually making the case at all that this mob was on par in any way, shape, or form with the demon. It's
just like, in real life, if you were like, is a rounding up a posse to go kill somebody that you think is a murderer the right thing to do? I think most people would agree, no, it is not. But in the reality of a Halloween movie, knowing what we in the audience all know about Michael Myers, like, well, if there's ever going to be an exception to that rule, like, it's hard to play a Halloween movie like the characters aren't justified in trying to kill Michael Myers because it's literally the only way to stop him. Like, obviously you can't arrest this guy. He's John Wicking like crews of 20 firemen at once. Like, the only way to save themselves is to kill him. So it's a weird choice to make your brave stand against mob. Like, normally, yes, of course, I agree with you. Like, you call the cops. Like, you know, don't go hunt somebody down and kill them. But
and then you have the
in this movie, they don't really sell me on it. It's like, no, kill Michael Myers. Feel free to kill
being
him.
charitable though. Like, the theme from the first film was how like trauma is passed down through generations, specifically the Strodes through this family. And then you could say that the second film was trying to do that with like the whole town, but they just weren't that traumatized by. I mean, they were 40 years ago, but they didn't make the case for like, he's been haunting this whole town and it's been intolerable. They finally snapped.
They flirted in the past in this series with, well, maybe the Michael Myers curse gets passed down. Like, maybe Michael Myers is a killer and then Jamie Lloyd becomes a killer. She inherits the evil gene or whatever. And like, that would work. That's a metaphor for how evil passes and the traumatized become the traumatizers or whatever. And I think you could do something like that, but they don't want to make Jamie Lee Curtis or Judy Greer evil. Like, it's more fun to just keep it being like the big iconic guy we all know. So you're stuck with this muddled kind of in the middle metaphor where it's like, what? I just don't know what Michael Myers represents. It's like, is that the pure evil or the evil that's within all of us or the wave?
I just hope they have like a good, I hope they wrote like the first film and the last film together and they're like, look, we just need to kind of keep things the same and just kill some time until we get to the last one. Cause I hope they know where they're going with this.
The next one's definitely Andy Manichak flying to a planet of Michael Myers. She's got to locate the piece to find the stone to get the arrow that'll tell her where to go. Find the key finder to go to the planet of Michael Myers and absorb all of their power.
All of their power. Maybe it's like the ending of The One, Jet Li's film, The One, where it's a planet of
Michael Myers with a motorcycle.
Yeah, and it's just Michael Myers fighting a planet also full of Michael Myers.
I mean, this would
Papa
be
Roach
like,
plays in the background.
Now you've got a pitch. Now you're pitching me something.
All right, keep going.
That tries to strike a balance between the old school scares of the slasher genre, the self-aware comedy of the current era,
Michael Myers is in the backseat. Go look.
Go look. Hell no.
a little bit of John Wick, and social commentary usually reserved for Jordan Peele or an A24 film about a goat that stands for a miscarriage or whatever. It may not be perfect, but it's still a perfect example of a nostalgia-fueled sequel to a reboot made to erase bad sequels that itself was a reboot of the sequels they got rebooted to erase in the first place, and my nose is bleeding again. Great. Starring The Shove.
His new move.
Big fan.
Strode Rage, a Karen, Ally McSqueal. I did my own research. Lonnie Jenkins.
He's up there with best fictional characters named Lon. Are there any others?
There's very few. The one other one is the lead character, I believe it's Colin Hanks in Orange County. You remember that movie, Orange County with Jack Black? He's also a Lonnie.
He's a Lonnie.
I think those are the only two movies I can think of.
All right. Well, the door's wide open for you, Lon. Let's get you cast as yourself.
And like veteran horror icon Lon Chaney, but he's a real guy named Lon.
Yes. All right, keep going.
Officer involved rebooting The Real Housewives of Haddonfield.
Stewart!
The Speed School of Hostage Negotiation. Better Cameo Saul. And Hall of Wieners. This is 40 years ago when Michael Myers killed my family. The actual coolest part of this movie? Realistic Donald Pleasance prosthetics. Wow, say that 3 times fast. Donald Pleasance prosthetics, Donald Pleasance prosthetics, Donald Pleasance prosthetics.
Nicely done, John.
Yeah, wow. That is amazing, that mask thing. I just assumed it was a really good one of those digital recreation jobs.
No, I thought the flashback was actually really well done, at least from like a filmic perspective. It really did look like they had gone back in time to make that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, this movie looks pretty good. It does not really look like a Halloween movie, but it does look cool. Like it has its own kind of visual style that I enjoy.
Yeah, I think it was in line with the 2018 one.
Right.
Once you were out of the flashback.
Exactly. I would take issue. We very quickly showed during the montage when John's talking about bad sequels and remakes and reboots. We showed the Rob Zombie films in there, and I actually like the Rob Zombie. So
I thought that I haven't seen those. Are they?
I would just put those out there. I think
they're kind of disliked, though. Correct?
They are. Oh, they're very wide. This counts as a hot take, I think.
Okay.
But no, because I was just going to say I like those better than the David Gordon Green reimaginings because he's trying to make it scary. And like, I get that doesn't like, it's very deliberately like not campy, not silly, not like there are references to the original in that he's sort of remaking it, but it's not one of those like jab you in the ribs, like, we get right. That's the guy for the first one. It's trying to make Michael Myers different enough that it's like unsettling again. And I like that about it.
Make Michael Myers unsettling again. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
We have
I'm making hats.
Let's watch some deleted scenes.
40 years ago when I was a kid, you protected me. So tonight I'm going to protect you.
Whoa, slow down. You're going to run out of bit parts to bring back for the sequel. Their vendettas must be told. Because this was clearly the middle part of a trilogy, and this killer is craving some filler for Halloween. Because this is half set up for the finale and half audition tape for Myers to join Mortal Kombat 11. Come on, finish him! Finish him! Finish him! Starring Look Who's Stalking, The Killing Bloke, The Babysitter's Club, The Final Granny, Jamie Lee Hurton, Slay Jude, Greer Street, Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. Say goodbye to these, Michael. Little Orphan Alley, Alley Ship, Tom Doyle Rules, The Bloodfest Club, Midnight Mask, Patton Lost Brawl, Remember the Frightens, Big Little Guys, Squid Game VIPs, Dirty Johns, Homophobia. Welcome back, Slaughter.
Evil dies tonight!
Evil dies tonight!
Evil dies tonight! Evil dies tonight! Evil dies tonight!
It didn't.
So yeah, I think the reason we backed off of that one is the joke was made simultaneous to, you know, there's like things in the ether. Dan Merle tweeted something very similar, and
I had sent that joke in with my honest trailers notes, and then like literally a few hours later, Dan tweeted the exact, like almost beat for beat, the same joke. And so I was like, let's not use that one. People think we ripped off.
Truly a case of great minds thinking alike. So props to Dan on that one. I think that I would have liked to use that somewhere. All right, let's do some fan questions. Let's see. Maybe you can answer this, Lon. The Cardolan asks, what was the last actually clever twist in a slasher film? I'm blanking on one.
Oh, I mean, I actually, I don't know if this was like chronologically last, don't hold me to this, but I was just talking about the Friday the 13th remake. You remember that one? What's the friend? That one has a cool, where it's like the opening and you think that you're watching like the whole movie, but then the opening is only like 20 minutes and then you go back and you see like the main story starts. And like, that's a cool misdirection thing I didn't see coming in a reinvention of a horror film. I also would say the Rob Zombie Halloweens, I think, are an interesting, different take that he really radically takes off in its own direction.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Scream even counts. And like Happy Death
Scream
Day
4 is a fun tweak on it, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and I would say Happy Death Day also is a, you know, like, yeah.
Okay, let's see. What monster or bad guy would you like to see fight Michael Myers from Aaron Matthew? Like a Freddy versus Jason. What's a good matchup for Mike Myers? No, speaking of which, we did do a Lon Today Massive script for the best slasher that's out today. Michael Myers.
We're comparing it's Freddy, Jason, and Michael.
Yeah, kills, escapes, deaths, every on-screen instance of that to see who comes out on top. Michael Myers may surprise you. But like who's a good foe for him? I mean, does it have to be a monster or a bad guy? The Yakuza? Let's do the Yakuza.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Yeah, I was gonna say he's got some like limitations. Like he can do the like kind of pop up supernaturally where you don't expect him, and he's like got stealth, but he's not like fast. So I feel like you can't pair him up against somebody who like a John Wick. Is it just too fast? He'll just like you know, run circles around him. So you gotta think of it in terms of like a Yakuza where they don't have any supernatural, they're just guys with swords and guns. Or like I was gonna say like a Chucky, where it's like he's also got some limitations just based on size and speed, but it would be like a strategic matchup between those two.
Yeah, if he is like a timeless demonic presence throughout history, I think putting him in like the Crusades, maybe against King Arthur, I'd watch that.
Well, Merlin, I feel like would make quick work of Michael Myers. It would have to just be like Lancelot and Arthur, and there's no magic or something.
Yeah. Similar.
Dev Patel as Gawain versus Michael Myers.
Now, Deviled Ham writes, killing people I kind of like is more horrifying than killing a bunch of one-dimensional tropes I don't care about while waiting for Laurie Strode to show up. Now, I would say these people are still 1.5 dimensional tropes. They're just ones that you like. They're just like quirky, kind of cosmopolitan people like that.
I think it's a tone thing that just feels off. It's not fun to watch them die because they've just been humanized.
It bums me out, but like that, I don't know. That's not what I want.
I agree that there's moments where it almost feels like they want you to feel sad during the kills, like when that woman's being forced to watch her husband get knives repeatedly jammed into him, and it's just like that's not fun in the way that I think again, you could either go chilling, disturbing, scary, or campy, over the top fun. They're trying to do this balance that I don't think works.
Yeah. All right, let's close with this from the Reynard City Update channel. What other special holiday serial killers should there be in addition to Halloween? I mean, there's so many, right?
There really is.
There should be Harvest Festival, Boxing Day, and Bonfire Night. Is that all Canadian? I don't recognize any of those.
That's definitely some other country that's not our country. We don't celebrate any of those things.
I think a Canadian serial killer should have a day, like with a razor hockey stick, I guess.
It's very hard to not dip immediately into crude stereotypes.
Yeah,
it's like
oh no, they're covering me
serial killer.
Hot poutine.
Serial killer, right?
Yeah, I don't know enough about Canada to even make fun of it. But yeah,
he kills ice fishermen, I guess.
Oh no, he's got socialized healthcare. Right. Yeah, what other holidays are left? Because there's obviously there's Christmas, there's Jack Frost, of course.
Sure, and Valentine. We've got My Bloody Valentine, and there's one that's just called Valentine. And,
we've got the Leprechaun for St. Patrick's Day.
We've certainly got the Leprechaun.
It's been to space.
And Christmas slashers is a whole subgenre. You've got your Black Christmases and Silent Night, Deadly Night. And
do we have a Hanukkah killer? Like 8 days?
Okay. That was gonna be my pitch because the days thing, but there's probably just it's probably the specificity.
I think that's great. Yeah, you got the timeline built in. It's the tension gets ratcheted up every night.
I think all the kills you also have to come up with either they spin to death or they get lit on fire or.
Well, I think if the body gets I'm going to kill one person the first night, 2 the second, 3 the third, and they're going to get more and more elaborate and
elaborate, and they've all got to you got to gold coins have to be involved some way.
Let's not go full trope.
Yeah, I think you have to go. It's got to be incredibly over the top.
Okay. Let's go
pancakes until his stomach bursts.
Lon, I can't wait to log off of this and go write the next great Jewish exploitation horror movie with you. I think it's a genre whose time has come. Let's see. What's next week? I actually got a Slack, so I know we were trying to determine what would be next week.
I feel like there's 2 things floating out there, and it could be one or the other.
We now have confirmation that it will be one that is a whole world of possibility. Will be next week's Honest Trailer. So
I get it. Wait, that could be either one.
Screw it. Yeah, come on back next week where you'll find all the answers to that question and more on Honest Trailer Commentaries. Thank you, Lon. Thanks everybody for watching. See you later.